Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Spooked, the improvised scary story podcast. I'm Cody Crane, and that's it. It's just me. Damien's not here. This is the start of our sixth season, and he died. He finished editing our 5-year anniversary and just passed on. Luckily, I'm here. I have the Ouija board. Maybe I'll try to communicate with Damien, bring him back to life at some point. But it's a really weird experience going on right now. I feel like like Wayne's World when Wayne gets fired and Garth is just left alone, and that's what's kind of going on. But I'm super excited. There's a couple things to mention off the top here. 5-year anniversary, released today. 5 years of doing this podcast, and this is going to be our episode 1 of the 6th year, which is pretty exciting. If you're listening to it late, then you didn't get to participate in answer or asking questions. That's on you, not on me. But it's not just me today. We have Alia Razul here and Isabel Zaughton.
Hello.
Welcome. Oh, a nice happy Annie on there. There we go. Look, people are cheering on the comments. Everyone's going wild. Isabel, really excited to have you on. You're a founding member of Hack Couture, creating that show. I've wanted to have you on for a long time because we're going to talk about it soon, but I haven't heard from you exactly, but I know that you have powers. So I want to talk about that today. And as well, Alia, Tita Collective, amazing. Wanted to have you on for a long time because you also have powers. So this is what we're talking about today. Ghosts and having powers.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's right.
Just pleasantly vague. What powers do they have?
Yeah, so well, let's go in first here. Isabel, I heard that you can see energy colors with people. Is this right? Is that how you would describe it?
Oh, you're talking specifically about synesthesia, I think.
Okay. I don't know much about this. What is this?
So for me, because my brain is different, I don't want to say can, because it's not like a magical power, I'm sorry. But it's just that for me, sounds and oftentimes smells as well have shapes and colors.
Oh, interesting.
It's just they're wired across in my brain. I think it's more common than a lot of people think. It got until, I want to say, like my early 20s, where I realized not everyone perceived the world that way. And I'm normally pretty hesitant to tell people about it because I get a lot of people accusing me of like faking it for attention. That's happened before. Men just love to tell me that I'm not as interesting as I think I am.
So. Oh, I love that. I love that about men, honestly.
Yeah. I remember once like tepidly bringing it up at a party, and then a guy looking at me and being like, "You think you're like that, but you're probably not." And I was like, "Okay, I know how my brain works. I'm just not going to talk about this with you again."
So, I'm here to tell you that you are as interesting as you think you are, and more interesting because you're being so low key about it. But this is a really cool thing.
I don't think you know how interesting I think I am. Might be a big overstatement. But no, I realized that not everyone is the same as me. When I want to say I was like 18 and I was at a park with a then boyfriend who also sucked. And I said something like, "Oh, where's that smell coming from?" And he said, "What smell?" And I said, the one that's like super pink. And he asked if I was having a stroke. And then he told me I was crazy. The thing is, in my family, like in my mother's family, schizophrenia runs in it. And when my mom first heard me describing this, she got really scared that I was like having like a schizophrenic moment. But no, it's fine. I'm sane.
What's what's the kind of like color or like and the smell association here? Like you just kind of get like these scents around certain things, or
It's really hard to explain, but it's just because some people have it different, and some people have it
right?
more than others. For some people, it's like smells, like sounds and words and things have smells. For me, it's more like shapes and colors. And it's not like you can see it, like you can touch it. It's more like the sound just is red, um, and it's like a certain shape. Like it's again, it's not great for a podcast because it's very hard to describe. But I just wanted to clarify that it's more scientific and not magical. I think that I'm a very unmagical person, like to to a degree where it's almost magical in itself. Like I'm kind of a magic black hole.
Well, I mean, you have worked in the ghost business before, though, too.
Yeah, I was a professional. I was in the ghost biz, and yeah, I was always really disappointed because sometimes people on my tours would see things, and they would have experiences while on the tours. I never saw anything, despite really wanting to and being very bold about going into haunted places, um, and really like daring the ghosts to show themselves. Never saw anything, but I do think that I had a couple ghosts who like were fond of me because I had a couple spots along my tour where whenever I had someone who was being really bratty on my tour, who was not listening to me, who was being rude, the ghost at that particular place would give them a hard time.
Oh, what kind of like hard time? What
Uh,
was were they pranks? Were they George Clooney style set pranks?
I didn't know that George Clooney does set pranks.
Oh, he's a
Do they
big
involve like coffee cups, like the
yeah,
Nescafe? He just flings disposable Nescafe cups at the boom mic guy.
yeah, everyone
Nespresso. Nespresso, excuse you.
Ah.
everyone that works on set with George Clooney, he pranks them by giving them an espresso machine. Yeah,
What a
it's the
fun
prank
prank.
master.
I, um, I wonder how quick I can make this tangent, but someone was recently talking about like what a nice guy George Clooney is, and they talked about how they'd had a bad surgery the day before, like something had ruptured in their body, and then they had to do the surgery immediately the next day, and they were like sitting on his white couch and just bleeding everywhere, and they were like, he didn't mention it at all. He was so like nice, and I was just like, no, he's a sociopath. He saw a man bleeding out on his white couch and he didn't say anything. I don't know.
Yeah,
Our bar for celebrities is low. I mean, it wasn't a George Clooney style prank. I can only assume. Maybe it was. Maybe it was exactly a George Clooney style prank because I'm unfamiliar with George Clooney's pranks. But it was like, to give you a concrete example, I once had a man on one of my tours who was in his mid 30s, like a very like from Oakville deep V T-neck, like a t-shirt kind of guy. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Like like his long-suffering girlfriend was wearing formal shorts and was saying things like, "Babe, you have to listen." So he was refusing to listen to anything I was saying. He would run off to use the bathroom on a walking tour, so he would like run off and pee in bushes. And we were standing in front of the Mackenzie House, which is one of the most haunted buildings in Toronto.
Yeah.
Which, if this podcast has been going for 6 years, y'all know that. And we were standing in front of Mackenzie House, and then he ran in front of the group after peeing by a tree. He was still zipping up his pants in front of the entire group of people. And I kind of snapped at him, and I was like, "Sir, go back and stand with the group, please. Remember, this is a tour for everyone." And then he began jumping into the window wells of the building itself to like peer into the building. And again, I was like, "Sir, you got to get out of there." And he was like, "No, it's fine. I'm trying to see the ghost or whatever." And suddenly he like shouted. He jumped out of the window well. He stumbled back to his group. He was white as a sheet. And apparently he'd seen like a shadowy figure that was running around the room, and it like looked at him and just like scared the crap out of him. And at first I didn't believe him, and I was just like, stop trying to scare everyone. But he was like, no, it's true. And he was like crying, and it was pretty great. But and then he was very well behaved for the rest of the tour. And that same spot, I had similar things happen where I had people who were just giving me a lot of crap. And then once we got to that spot, they would look in the window, and then that black shadowy figure would show up and scare them, and then they would be really well behaved.
It's great that the ghost had your back like this. One of the things though too, you said he was peeing in the bushes. The Mackenzie house is in a very populated area of Toronto.
I will say it's that sweet spot of Toronto that's like heavily populated, but like people do pee there, you know. Like the street just behind Mackenzie House, the back of the theater. I'm thinking Wintergreen Theater, which is incorrect.
Right.
Which is sad because I used to work there, so I should know the name of it. But no, I saw a man fully like remove his pants to the ankles and do a number 2 on the sidewalk of that street.
You gotta get like a toilet there or something at this point if it's that popular.
Some people just like going outside. You know, you like to feel the breeze on your butt cheeks.
To segue in here, Isabel, you haven't personally seen a ghost yet, but Alia, you can see ghosts and communicate with ghosts.
Yeah. I mean, that's news to a lot of people now. I realize it's not something I talk about a lot, although, I mean, we did talk about it, Cody. This is why I'm here.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm exposing both of you right now.
I know. I realize, I agreed to this, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, oh no.
I like it because we're like polar opposites, where I'm just like, I want to see a ghost and I can't, like no magical ability, can't see auras. And then there's Alia that's just like the ghost lady.
Yeah, I just see ghosts all the time.
But girl, you're Filipino. I'm not surprised.
You're so right. It's like very much in our culture, actually. Just the idea that, first of all, every single freaking school that I've ever been on, it's almost a rule that they are on graveyards. I've never been in a school that wasn't on a graveyard.
Is it built on top of like a graveyard? Like they took away the tombstone, or is like the tombstone in the yard?
Like they took away, I don't know. There are no remnants of this graveyard. It's just every single school somehow has death all over it. I was in a school in Saudi Arabia. It was a Filipino school. That was in a graveyard. I moved to the Philippines. That school was in a graveyard. And then in Dubai, well, I mean, it's in the desert, so I'm pretty sure somehow it was a graveyard. But, yeah, all of them were haunted. All of them were haunted.
When was it that you started to first see ghosts?
I mean, okay, so I guess you don't really. So this sort of started, I think, because so I have a really interesting relationship with death in terms of I lost a brother really young. So I think when you're young like that, I lost a brother when I was a year old. So it's always and he was younger than me. So I always had an understanding of death and kind of the idea that he might be around somewhere. So I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I always get a sensation and sort of I could always sense them, but I actually seeing them just sort of happened in the last 3 years, which is wild. It's wild.
What do you see when you see a ghost? Do you see the formation of a person, or does it take some other shape? Or?
So, I mean, if they were human spirits, I see humans.
Right.
And not all spirits are human.
You see animal spirits?
Mostly tree spirits. I see tree spirits.
Oh.
Yeah. Tree and plant spirits. So, yeah. which
That's
is
so
yeah.
interesting.
Pardon?
That's just so interesting. I've heard a lot of stories of animal ghosts, like cat ghosts are very common.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of tree and plant spirits. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think a lot, and there's a lot of like, obviously the older the tree, like the more wisdom it has, and it starts to have it just like some plant like sometimes like trees are kind of like homes to spirits, and sometimes the spirits are the tree. So which is like there is a difference.
I heard once from a medium that like everyone has like two spirits that are like they're kind of angels or whatever. So I was told that like mine was an old man and his dog, which I felt like I got like the short end of the stick because like one of mine is a dog. So like I can't imagine if like one of yours was like a tree. I feel like what's it gonna do for you?
I feel like having a tree would be awesome.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, like air.
I mean that's interesting. That's like so everyone gets two. It's like such a like that's the budget. That's your spirit budget.
Yeah.
What if when you were in utero, twin died and you absorbed that twin? Do you get 4?
Oh, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah. Just making up the rules.
No, that makes sense. No, but okay. So I'm not gonna refute what that medium says because you know what I mean. Like, but usually every person has a spirit team. They have a team. I don't know if it's 2, but some people have lots.
Those are the twins.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They have, but like, yeah. And these people are usually like sometimes your ancestors or just like angels that are really rooting for you.
Mine's probably just one old guy, the dog. I got like a dandelion in there. Just the worst team, like a tomato plant or something. The A team, this is not.
I feel bad. Like if I have a team behind me, why am I doing so badly? Like,
do you communicate with them?
I mean, I did not know they existed prior to this. I mean, I grew up Catholic, so I grew up with like a guardian angel idea.
Maybe just pay them a little attention. Just give them a little love.
Because right now all I do is I pray to my guardian angel when I've lost objects or when I'm looking for a parking space.
Yeah.
Those are the important things.
That's what they're there
also,
for.
It seems like some people have more than others. How does that, listen, that sounds a little classist to me. Okay? Some people just are born with more spirits than other people. Also, I know I'm like a non-magical dirtbag, so I probably just have like one, like a pigeon or something.
That's, you know what? You were saying, so you said that those spirits on your tours had your back.
So I like to think so. I like to assume everyone likes me.
I think like, okay, so this is kind of like like, it took me a while to understand this, but like, like it's sort of like in that law of attraction realm of things. It's like, if you get the gut feeling that's the case, then it is the case. That's sort of like, that's the world like operating in this kind of spirit stuff, right? So, I mean, I think you have like a whole tour of ghosts, like who's got your back? TBH.
Maybe they don't. What if your ghosts don't like you? What if your spirit team, like, what if that dog just like really doesn't like you?
And they will like screw around with you. I've had that. Okay, so sometimes, so because a lot of spirits don't necessarily know you can see them, but when they get wind that you can see them, then they'll try to mess with you. And they all have their own personalities, right? So sometimes some of them have like bad intentions and they just want to like suck on your energy. And then they'll fuck around with you. Like I had a spirit that just knocked everything over. And
breakable things?
Yeah, like they would just like if I touch something, and it doesn't happen anymore because I got rid of it, but like if you touch something, it just like knocks over. It like just kept happening. over and over and over again. It was really freaking frustrating. It was my brother. No, it was my brother's like, oh my God, go bug mom. But yeah, it's just like they all have their own personalities. And if they don't like you, just like people, they will do whatever that is in their power to like bother you. But they can't actually hurt you because you're the one that's living. They can't really do anything.
There's so much about that story that's interesting. And I want to ask you a million questions about the pest of the spirit that was knocking things over for you. But you mentioned that you got rid of it. How did you get rid of it? What did that entail?
So for me, I think everyone has a different process for this. I don't really talk to many mediums, maybe. I don't know. I don't consider myself a medium. This is something that I've sort of learned. So if I have a spirit that's like, that I want to get rid of, and it's not really getting rid of, it's like you want them to move on, right? So if you want them to move on, you kind of ask them to move on and you sort of hope that they transmute to light. And how I do that mentally is like, well, first of all, you ask them, and if they're nice, they will. And if they won't, then I ask my spirit guides to help me out, and they kind of act like my bouncers. And I know this is kind of like synesthesia. So like, I know it's happening when I have this image in my head of like, do you know, like the secret garden, like the door to the secret garden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In ivy. So it's always the same door. And I can see them like crossing it. And they usually like, it's usually like a dark spirit or weird spirit. They usually like turn into like something young and innocent. It's probably my perception of it. But when that happens and they cross through the door, then I know they've gone. And it's always the same door. And everyone has like their different level of drama trying to get through it. There was like a particularly like nasty spirit that would just like, you know, like when you're trying to push your annoying brother or sibling out the door and they just won't.
Yeah.
So I actually had to get help with and got another person to like help me out with that.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
Also so lovely. It's like such a lovely visualization.
Yeah, and it's like you also feel really relieved after.
I think that one of the things that I really like about ghosts and ghost stories is obviously like the ooky spooky aspect. I love a good murder. I love a good revenge. But I also just love there's a comfort in knowing that we're more than just our like dumb meat bodies, that there's something about us that's like beyond just like the physical dirt, you know?
Yeah.
You said it in a much more lovely way than I did.
No, but it's also like you also have a team behind your back, you know, like they're rooting for you. Yeah.
What, like, because do you see spirits all the time? Is that the kind of thing, or is it just like kind of like come and go? Because when you, like, for example, when we were in Bad Dog together, and you communicated with the spirits that haunt Bad Dog, which I mean, a lot of Bad Dog performers might be watching right now or listening, and they had no idea of this haunting.
Yeah, they know it haunted George and Alfred in the green room.
I got roasted by George and Alfred.
That's true, you did. I mean, you set it up. You set them up. They're haunting a comedy theater. Like they've learned a thing or two.
But do you see them like all of the time, kind of thing? Because I feel like I would cancel my Netflix subscription and just be communicating with ghosts while I'm at home.
Not all the time. It also depends on like how connected I'm feeling. And then some days when I do see them and I'm just like, I can't, because like everyone has their bad days and their capacity, right?
Right.
Sometimes I just ask like my spirit guides to be like, I can't do this right now. Or sometimes like you're in the bathroom and they're like in your face and like, you know what? I need my privacy right now. Go away. So you can sort of like, yeah. And there have been times where I'm like, I'm really sorry, I have a deadline. I will deal with you later. You know, sorry, I got a calendar. I got a calendar. Oh, someone wants to know about the bad dog ghosts? Okay, well, their names are George and Alfred. Alfred has been haunting the Bad Dog Theater longer. George is newer. Their favorite improvisers are Jess Bryson and Eton Muscat.
What a compliment. What a compliment for those individuals.
They're nice ghosts, but the box office, and I've told Avery Jean, who's like the box app, like we gotta clear that because there's something there. There's something there. There's like a weird, like it kind of sometimes it's probably how I see it in my head, and it's probably not, you know what I mean? Like you interpret how you feel or sense. I see like black smoke like coming out of the box office, and that's that. It's not a human spirit. It's just like bad, angry, bitter energy. It's not evil. It's just like this icky energy.
Someone just like saw a show they really didn't like.
Yeah, I think so. I'm here for my refund.
It was probably one of my shows.
Yeah, someone was like, I think Cody was like, okay, well, Jess and Aton are your favorite. What about me? And they're like, who's Cody?
I just wanted to be ranked. Considered.
Come on.
I love a ghost that haunts a theater. Those are the most dramatic ghosts, at least like the stories that I've heard, like just so dramatic. And the people that are seeing the ghosts in the theater are already like predisposed to being dramatic. So it's just you get the most fun stories. Also, a lot of murders historically have happened in theaters.
But all theaters are haunted.
All theaters.
Okay, I'll tell you why. So theaters, I mean, like they came from performance, and like the original performances were rituals, right?
Yeah.
Rituals and like speaking to spirit and all of that stuff is very connected, and like somehow over the years, like it's turned to entertainment, but like they still act as portals because like that. And the thing is, like actors and things like that, you're so in tune to energy. There's a lot of energy that's happening in theater. So ghosts and spirits are very attracted to that. So most theaters are haunted. The most haunted theater in Toronto right now is like Tarragon.
Ooh.
I've been to, because I haven't been to all of them. So Tarragon Theater was like so freaking haunted. Like we were doing rehearsals there, and I was like, okay, do not go to this rehearsal room, and do not go to the accessible washroom on the second floor, because whatever ghost, there's 2 ghosts in there, and they are not happy. I'm just saying, clear it first.
I mean, when you have to see that much theater over and over again.
Yeah.
I can't take another Fringe show.
Just can't do it. I honestly, I feel for them. I know.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you now.
Okay.
Like, are you able to see if there's a ghost in the room with me right now?
I mean, I was gonna ask if you wanted to know.
Can you see one? I'm in such a small area right now. It'd be so close.
Show us the ghost.
Okay, so there's like 3, and they're not bad. They're just hanging out.
3? This is a small bench.
You know what's really funny is that they're looking into the camera, being like, "Hey, mom," not like actually, "Hey, mom," but they're like, something's up. They want to know what's up, and that's why there's 3 crowded around you. But they're not bad. They're cool. They're cool.
One of them is Damien.
One of them is Damien. Oh, hey, Damien.
It's good for him to be here. I'm glad he showed up.
Oh, he's like, oh, Cody's a murderer. Oh, right.
Are there any in with me? Are there any here?
Not right behind you. Not right behind you, but I feel like maybe there's like a tree spirit somewhere outside.
Your streak continues. I got 3 with me here. You still can't have a ghost here.
I know. I'm just like, I want a ghost. Cody's got
Or like
3. I've got 0. I continue to be the one non-magical person on this freaking podcast.
I mean, this is also like through Zoom. I'm doing my but like, I mean, they're everywhere. Like sometimes, so I try to hide that I can see them, because once they realize that you can see them, then they follow you. And sometimes there's just like a crowd of spirits following me, and it's a lot.
We had a question. We had a question pop up. Do ghosts like improv? I can tell you that usually this podcast has an improvised portion, and those 3 behind me would be out of here so quick.
Well, those 3 like it. I mean, they're hanging out. They're hanging out. Do ghosts like improv? I think, like most of us, the ones who have nothing better. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying, they all have their own personalities, okay? Like, you can't generalize all ghosts. Like, some of them like improv and some of them really hate it.
Yeah, there might be one.
Like, there's at least one. Like, one likes improv.
Oh, how would you describe the spirit's sense of humor?
Like any spirit?
I guess the bad dog ones specifically.
Oh, the bad dog one. I don't know. We didn't really talk to them that much, but I think from what I remember, Cody, like they love improv, so they're open to anything. I'm just hating on improv for no reason. I work for, by the way, an improv theater. I think also like a lot of them are really old and have been around and have seen a lot of things. So, you know,
well, they can see the joke coming.
Yeah, they can see it. They can see it coming. There you go.
They're like, come up with some original material.
I know. It's like, I've seen this before. Also,
Imagine being a ghost who like haunts an open mic.
Oh no!
Like,
those ghosts expedited. those ghosts expedited their moving on. They're like, I'm good.
How can you tell the difference between a ghost that's like a person who died and a ghost that's more of like you mentioned, the bad dog ghosts aren't like people, they're more like an energy, like the black smoke?
Oh, that's what I see. So like George and Alfred, like I saw them as people, and then the black smoke, like that's what I see. And I'm sure, like, again, like synesthesia, right? Like some people will see colors a certain way or numbers with colors and things like that. So that's my perception of it. But like, they also like, so the thing that happens a lot is that a lot of grandparents will come back to be part of the spirit team of their grandchildren. And so a lot of my friends have their grandparents around them just to like have their back.
What a way to find out that you're the favorite grandchild.
I know.
My grandpa died last December. Bless his soul. He was like 98. So you don't have to be like, I'm so sorry or whatever. But he had like 47 grandchildren because he had 11 children. So maybe we're all on like a rotation or something. And he's like, okay, so I've got this kid on this month and then this kid this week of this month. That just seems like a lot of responsibility. I would just be like, this one's my favorite. I'm picking them. They're going to be lucky.
Some of them do, though. Some of them do that. Like, I have one friend who's like, grandparent just stuck around because that's the one who needed him the most. And then I have another friend whose grandpa is around, and her grandpa was pretty like, he was pesky. Like, he was like bothering me because he passed away after they had like kind of a fight, and she felt guilty of it. And so he just wanted her to know that it was okay. And then he left after that. So
That's
it's like,
really nice.
Yeah. So it's usually also like who needs you the most. But also, like, for example, my brother is on rotation. Like he'll visit each of us equally.
Ghosts got a schedule.
I know. They're They're just like us.
Isabel, you were talking about being questioning your team of ghosts, but you also said at the same time that all you asked for is like parking spots and stuff. Maybe you need to ask this team for bigger things if you want them to do more.
Get me a writing job.
It's in the air now.
Oh, they're on it.
Disaster.
They're like, they're on it.
But I don't have any. I have maybe a tree outside.
Oh, but your team
spirit probably doesn't like me because I kill all my plants.
Wait, do you have a tree outside?
Yeah, I have 2 trees outside.
Oh, okay. But like your spirit team is sort of like, they're kind of like your, I don't know, it's not the Avengers. Who are like the superheroes that you call when you get the Avengers, right? Avengers assemble.
When you said who you call, I was like, oh, the Ghostbusters, but that's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But they're like
it's like Mulan and goes to the temple with all her ancestors. She's like, help me out, and they're like, you're beyond help.
I mean, it's sort of like that. Yeah.
Put on some lipstick, honey.
yeah. No, your team is like committed. They're like committed to this. Like they've committed. We're part of your team. I wonder if they sign up, but
also until very recently, I had all 4 grandparents living. So maybe like, if your grandparents are alive, too bad you don't have spirit guides. Gotta wait for those people to knock off.
Yeah, they're just going through processing now, and they'll be your spirit guides for spirit team.
I bet grandparents would be the most common spirit guides, right?
Yeah. Most commonly, yes. Yeah. But sometimes it's just like ancestors. Yeah.
Have you ever experienced any kind of like bad spirit, like kind of thinking about like dark, like a demon? And please don't tell me there's one behind me.
There isn't. Yeah, I don't know. For me, yes, I have for sure. It was really scary. It's only ever happened once, and I had to call my mom because my mom's very religious, and usually like I don't scare easily because I have like a very practical, I don't know, like I just don't get scared by ghosts because they've been around. But there is one that was like I felt their intentions were very, very bad, and it's kind of like that feeling where you're in a scary movie. And I had to call my mom. And I had to wake her up because she lives in Dubai. It's a time difference. I'm like, I really need you to pray for me right now. It's very scary. I felt like I couldn't breathe. What did that ghost want? So sometimes some ghosts or spirits, that was a spirit, that wasn't really a ghost. Some of them just really want to suck on your energy, and that's what they feed on. And that one just found out like I have this power, and they just wanted to consume it. So, but it's gone now. I got rid of it. I had to do a cord cutting. Everyone look up cord cutting. I had to do a cord cutting. So that was like an intense. That one I needed help with.
What's the process of cord cutting?
I don't really understand it that well because I don't really look into this stuff. But I went to kind of like a healer person. Actually, okay, this is the wild story. So I went to a healer. Like September, okay, and they kind of gave me more vocabulary for understanding a lot of the things that I already intuitively was like, okay, this is how I navigate through the spirit world, and they kind of gave me more language and understanding. And then they were like, when I went home, they called, they're like, I need you to come back on this day in 2 weeks. And I was stressed because it's like, why in 2 weeks? And then she called again. She was like, also, if like there's a ghost that bothers you, just breathe and know that you're fine. But if anything bad happens, come to me right away. And I'm like, okay, it's made this worse. And then so I was stressed out for 2 weeks. And then the day before I was supposed to see her was the day that thing showed up. I was like, and so I went the next day being like, what the heck just happened? And she's like, yeah, there's a really bad spirit following you around. And I felt like, what do you need today? And then she cut the cords Blew my mind.
What have you ever fallen in love with a ghost?
I have not, but you know what? I'm single and I'm open to it. So.
There was that one time I was like doing pottery.
Like that's the dream. I mean, like it's slim pickings. Slim pickings out here for a single lady in Toronto.
What would a ghost have to do for you to fall in love with it? Because I feel like it would have to work very hard just for you to overcome it being a ghost.
To be honest, be kind, be polite. Don't tell me what I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying, Isabel? Like,
okay.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just like, are you kidding? A ghost would be better than a boyfriend because they don't have PO. You don't have to worry about them leaving their weird 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner in your shower. You don't have to teach them how to microwave a pizza.
yeah.
What else? I don't know.
Exactly. It's a total step up. So, you know.
That seems like a very specific list.
Specific but relatable.
It's so true. You know what? I need to get on that. I need to make an app.
I'm sure there was a website a while ago. It was like a joke website though, but it was like a dating website for ghosts. But there was that woman who do you remember that woman who married a ghost? It was in you can guess the country. It was in Britain, but she married a ghost, and then it didn't go so well though, and they got divorced, and it was like, well, they gave it a go. She was like, he was a pirate. I'm like,
I would love to meet a ghost pirate, to be honest. Most of the ghosts that I meet are just like sensible, like accountants, or they're mostly people's grandparents. So
just one pirate.
Yes, I would love a ghost pirate. It'd be great.
I had this one paranormal experience, kind of like it was in the middle of the night one time, and I was laying in bed. And I saw this like dark figure in the corner, and I just saw it walk over to my partner at the time's side of the bed and just stand over them. And so basically, I just looked at it the whole time. I could see it was just all dark, and I could see past it, but not through it. And so I just kept on saying, like, you don't have any business here, kind of thing. And then I like got up and I tried to like move my positioning to see if that would change my vision at all or anything, but it was still kind of there. And I just kept on telling it to move on. And then I went back into bed, and then like maybe 5 minutes later, they woke up. And they had sleep paralysis, but described exactly the figure like moving what I saw.
Wow. You ever see it again?
No, but I think that apartment that we lived in had a lot of bad energy to it, and I think it might.
Did you ever look into the history of the apartment? I love this. When people have experiences and they look into the history of it and they find out like someone died in the apartment before them or something like that.
It was built on a graveyard.
Yeah. I will also say too, I've had because I also have like sleep paralysis, night terrors. So again, like the spooky, but like the science part of it, where like you see the same dark figure at the end of the bed. I'll also have it where I'll be like awake, but I have like vivid hallucinations of like. One that happens a lot is like I'll be awake and I can hear like the conversations in the house around me, so I know that I'm not like asleep, but like just rats will be running over my body, or like sometimes it's bugs. It's horrible. But whenever the dark man comes and is like standing at the edge of the bed, because I was raised Catholic, I always feverishly say the Saint Michael the Archangel prayer, and it always works. So I'm just saying, everybody, you can convert to Catholicism if you want to get rid of your demons. No. Probably what happens is it just helps like calm me down. And then it goes away.
We got a question a little bit ago that was, how could a marriage with a ghost go well?
How did it go poorly? I mean, they got divorced, so clearly it went poorly. But like,
well, I mean, maybe they parted amicably. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it was a contentious divorce, from what I remember of that weird interview. But okay, listen. They can't change the channel. You never have to compromise on what show you're going to binge watch. You never have to wash their dishes. You never have to do their laundry.
Yeah, you don't have to share the bathroom. Huge. You don't have to share the bathroom.
You're not going to find the clumps of their hair in the shower drain. Okay, they can use their levitating powers to help you carry groceries in from the car.
But they're always going to be around, though. That's the problem. You'll never have your alone time.
No, because if you want to get rid of them, you just find them. You just cut the cord. You just find a medium, and you're banished to the shadow realm. What a great divorce is that?
Oh,
never have to see it again.
That's so true. That's so true.
Imagine being the ghost, though. Like, what a shocking thing. Just like, I think we can really work this out. No, don't banish me.
You had your chance. Listen, you nagged too much. Marry a ghost.
That's true. That's true.
But to go over to what you said before is about like Catholicism. I didn't grow up with any kind of religion, but I do know that with like Catholicism, that's the religion that has all of the tools to battle ghosts and demons.
Yeah, seriously. People think that like, okay, so my mom is like Métis, so she's Catholic, and my dad converted as an adult to Catholicism, but his family's from Burma, so they're like Buddhist. And I feel like I meet all these white people that are like, I'm like exploring Buddhism, and it's so like, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, are you kidding me? No, that's the religion where like, you're bad, you're gonna be a bitch, and I'm gonna push you. Like, what? No, Catholicism is the one where it's like you got the demons, you got the ghosts, you got the like the crazy mythology with like heaven and hell and like the rings and the demons and that's where the fun is.
It's true. Catholicism, the fun religion.
In that one sentence.
You'd like make a great rebrander of like Catholicism, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm ready to convert. That sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Game of
you can have a let me tell you. Okay, so all my friends, I guess I don't really my friend anymore. That's too much backstory. Someone I knew once, they worked for the Archdiocese of Toronto, and they got access to all the info on the exorcisms. And you better believe that was part of the reason why I tried to make that friendship last as long as it could, because it's so fascinating. They got applications for people to like exercise like whole ass houses and buildings.
Wait, applications?
The process. Yeah, you gotta apply. You can't have an exorcism. That would be such bad PR. No, okay. So if you think that someone is possessed and they need an exorcism, the process is grueling. You need to first go to a psychiatrist, and that psychiatrist has to be like, okay, this isn't a mental illness. And then they have to have a second opinion. They have to go to a second psychiatrist, and that psychiatrist has to also write up a thing saying, yep, this is not a mental illness. This is definitely something beyond medical science. And then you have to compile you have to like get those write-ups and get a package together, and you got to send that to the Vatican. And then the Pope himself has to read that application and be like, yeah, this is demons. This person isn't just depressed. Like they've got a demon. And then they go to the exorcising priest in the city where you live, and it's a secret. Like no one knows who the exorciser is. It's like top secret. I tried to find out. I couldn't. The person isn't friends with me anymore. I'm too nosy. And then they do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a long process. It can take like upwards of a year. And this person just got a demon in them the whole time. Because church doesn't want to get sued. They don't want to be like,
How many like applications do you think the Pope like reviews every year? And it's like, and is it like
hundreds?
When you're waiting for your response, is it like kind of like getting a college application? It's sort of like, congratulations.
the Pope's getting these things like flyers.
I can, but also just imagine the motto of Catholicism is have fun. Listen, Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine at a party. That man wants us to have fun. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Imagine just like waiting, anxiously refreshing your Gmail like every day while your daughter's like spinning head, vomiting what's it gonna happen? Oh, imagine the backlog and exorcisms that COVID must have caused.
Do you think it's like paper mail that they get informed, or is it by email, or is it by text now? What do you think? Like they're getting text notifications?
It's probably all digital. There's probably like a form you can fill out if you go like Archdiocese of Toronto and you're just like the drop down menu where it's like, what are you applying for? And it's like, marriage, baptism, annulment, exorcism.
Yeah. It's sort of like, and where it is in the process is sort of like how pizza deliveries are. It's like, oh, it's just
Paul's just reading it. He's talking to the bishop, talking to the cardinal.
So I want to jump into, because we were talking about religion here, and there's a lot of we've seen a lot of debate on this podcast over the years too, because a lot of people like yourself associate like ghosts and everything with religion because it's such a big part of religion. Myself, I'm not a religious person, but I believe in ghosts, and I'm wondering, Alia, where do you kind of lie in this as well?
Well, okay, so the Philippines is a very Catholic country, also very culturally Catholic country. I myself, like my father is Muslim, and my mom is like Protestant. So I got those three religions sort of knocking around my head. So, so with I feel like the graveyards under the school thing is for sure part of the Catholicism part. And by the way, I've seen an exorcism happen like in my school.
In your school?
What?
And that's actually how I found out it was a graveyard, because like I remember, in like you have religion classes, okay? You have religion classes in Philippine schools, like Catholic classes.
It's part of curriculum, or
yeah, it is. And then I remember one day,
was there like an announcement over the PA where they're like, "Can everyone come to the gym for the exorcism?"
No, but it was more dramatic than that. So like the school nurse runs into, like, I was having religion class, runs in the class, whispers into my teacher's ear, and my teacher, I could remember her face. She just like was like freaked out, and they both run out, leave us, like we were grade 2. They left us like unsupervised, and we were like, what happened? And then it was like lunch break afterwards, and our religion teacher never came back. So we were all like, okay, I guess we're going to break now. And then like when you go outside into the yard, you kind of pass by the nurse's office, and there was like a crowd of people there. And we're like, what is happening? Like, what is happening? Like, one of the students was possessed. And then that's how I found out the school was on a graveyard, because they're like one of the students possessed because we're on a graveyard. Yeah, and also they were like, you're never supposed to go like in the backyard of the school, because that's where like the most graves are. I don't know, like whatever. And then
that's where they buried the real bad kids.
Yeah, like in the back, like they did not get the primo real estate, So like, so that student had wandered out and then got possessed.
How did they know they got possessed? Were they speaking in tongues? Did they have like?
I don't know.
Did you ever find out what student it was? Imagine that being your legacy in elementary school. Like in elementary school, you throw up an English class and everyone remembers it until you graduate. Imagine being like the kid who was possessed.
Yeah,
that's in that down.
That's in their yearbook.
Yeah. Like, never change. Don't get possessed again. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Say hi to your demon for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Every time you go back to your hometown, you'd just be at the grocery store and people would be like, hey, that kid, they got possession.
like all of those
They
nerd
possessed kid.
movies. Those nerd revenge movies where the whole plot is like, I was the kid that like got made fun of, or like that was pantsed. Imagine like the kid that
Yeah. So like in algebra, my eyes just turned completely black and I started hovering over the desk and like speaking in tongues.
and you made fun of me. And now a Silicon Valley millionaire and fell in love with me, but I'm secretly having revenge on you. Yeah. That right now.
I love it. The idea of them just becoming like really like Instagram famous, like for makeup or something. They're like, look at me now. I have my own palette.
And it's all like shades of gray and blue whites.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a deep red, just one.
They're all black. They all have like different names.
Yeah.
We got a controversial question up here of do you think the Pope's a hoax?
Oh.
Like the Pope as a person? Like he's a hologram? Or like
just his positioning, I guess.
I mean, but who's like approving all those exorcist like applications then?
Maybe it's the cardinals?
Oh, you know what? You're right. It's very, very simple solution to that.
Someone else. Anyone else.
Basically, like, is the Pope a figurehead? Is the question? Or
I guess so.
Or is he like a very elaborate puppet that's operated by a cabal of, I don't know.
Yeah, explain what you meant, Chili. I've never met him, so anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might be saying if like maybe he's just questioning the whole religion with it, or like questioning his or the ability of doing an exorcist, if that is a real thing, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, he's just having Chili's just having a good time. If you don't think out your question,
I do like the idea of like a Pope as a hologram, like doing a concert with.
I love that idea. Like, I would watch that show. I feel like
it's like Biggie and Tupac and the Pope.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very COVID-proof. I'm surprised there aren't any more hologram shows right now, because we are in a pandemic.
Why not? Well, this is a hologram show. We're all holograms.
Maybe it's really expensive.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, you need a for that.
Or maybe rich people are just doing it for themselves privately. Like maybe in Elon Musk's home, he gets a hologram Pope concert every night. Him and Grimes and their weird baby.
Is Elon Musk real? Like, he can't be real. Who is this guy?
Is Elon Musk a hoax?
Is Elon Musk a hoax? Yeah.
I would love it if he's a hoax. I would love it. The thing is, Elon Musk is kind of a hoax because he didn't found Tesla. He didn't found PayPal or whatever. He just bought those things with his apartheid emerald mine money and then pretended like he did. And all of his scams. Anyway, this is not ghost related. We're not going to talk about this. I'm not going to rant about how much I hate Elon Musk during my fun time.
I have a couple.
What year did you move to America, Elon?
So Elon Musk is a hoax. The Pope maybe. That's where we landed.
We have a running segment here on Spooked where we're getting through 50 Would You Rather questions. So I have 2 of them here for the 2 of you. No one likes this segment, but we keep doing it anyways because we have to make it through the 50. This is our most complained about segment of anything we've ever done.
I love it already.
I know. You're really selling it.
Yeah. So here's the first one. Would you rather spend a night in the Overlook Hotel with Jack Torrance or the high school gym during prom with Carrie.
Who's Jack Torrance?
Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
Oh, well, the view, I'm sure, at the Overlook Hotel is nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen, Jack Torrance was a pussy, okay? Did you see his wife, how easily his wife knocked him down the stairs with that baseball bat, okay? His power was having a creepy face. That was it. He had no superpowers. He got scared by an old lady in a tub, okay? I
He's
could
a
kill
hoax.
Jack Torrance.
so I feel like Overlook Hotel is where we're leaning. Yeah.
He got trapped by a child in a hedge maze. Okay?
It's true. Carrie was like lighting things on fire, like flipping cars.
Yeah,
Like
Carrie would kill me and I would respect her for it, okay? Jack
also
Torrance,
what?
I'm going to knock him down the stairs with a baseball bat.
Yeah, what, you'd risk it to go to a high school prom? Like, you know what? I'm in my 30s. I'm good.
Like, I fully assumed that the horror part of the second Would You Rather was going to stop at Would You Rather Go to High School Prom? And I was like, oh, the Overlook Hotel. Oh, lock me up with the haunted man.
True.
Last one here. Would you rather be abducted by aliens or chased by a serial killer? Ooh.
Both of those involve weird sexual stuff that I'm not okay with.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, like, chased for how long? Like,
And until you die, I think, is the idea. Like you're chased until they die or you die, I would assume.
Okay.
I mean, you could just get away.
Yeah,
And then you could like twirl around to this chainsaw while music plays poetically. Texas Chainsaw Massacre had a weird ending. I think like the aliens thing, people just like they tend to completely forget it. They just have a weird gap
And you're
in
alive.
their memory.
Yeah.
And you're alive at the end of it. So it's just like maybe it's super traumatic, but I'm not gonna remember it. And then I just have to keep it to myself so I don't seem crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I could avoid both of these things by just staying out of rural America.
Right.
For me, it's like visiting interesting places. That's my theme for these questions. So Overlook Hotel and maybe space. So I'm gonna go with aliens.
Yeah, the experience is just better. I mean, if you're chased by a serial killer, even if you get away, you're just gonna be thinking about someone following you for the rest of your life.
I honestly can't run that much. So
Yeah, I'm not a fan of cardio. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Also, serial killers, like it's all about them. Like even if I do escape or I'm killed, people are going to remember the serial killer, and they're going to have their weird little fan things. There's going to be a Netflix series about him. I don't like that. If I get abducted by an alien, that's all about me. You know, no one knows the name of those aliens. No one cares what they look like. They're like, oh, there's that crazy lady who got abducted by aliens.
You're front page.
Yeah. I'm on the front page of the Inquirer next to Bat Boy being like, aliens took me.
It's true. It's like Isabel and the aliens. You're the friend. Yeah.
Whereas if it's a serial killer, it'd just be like, Stabby Bob gets them again.
Scabby Bob?
I've had enough of serial killers getting these cool names, okay? Just give them really indecent names, just like the dumb idiot strangler.
If you call yourself Scabby Bob, you're guaranteed you're never getting a special on Netflix.
Scabby Bob.
The press needs to stop romanticizing. Like, what was it? Like Green River Killer? That sounds cool. Call him like the gassy murderer. He'll get caught immediately because his ego, like he'll show up in the newspaper and be like, guys, have you considered calling me the cool guy?
He's just writing a letter to the editor.
Stop calling me Scabby Bob.
My first and last name are this.
Here's a list of other options. My top 10. I think we should start winding down here. I have so many more questions for you, and I'd love both of you to come back again sometime on to Spooked. But let's do a round of plugs. Alia.
Yeah, you can follow me at Alia Rasul on Instagram, or you can follow my group. I'm part of the Tita Collective, which is a 6-member all Filipina sketch comedy group, and you can follow us at tita.collective on Instagram.
Amazing. And Isabel.
So you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Handles are the same, just at Isabel Zaughton. Isabel, like it is below right here, and then Zaughton, Z-A-W, no hyphen, Z-A-W-T-U-N. I forgot how to spell my name for a second. And then you can also follow Hack Couture on Instagram. That's at hack.couture. We do web shows every Friday where we interview guests and go through their closets to see their fun stuff. And this upcoming Friday, we have Circa on our show. She's the creator of New Normal Comedy, so it'll be fun to see what's in her closet.
Cool.
Amazing. And we'll be tweeting all of this out at Spooked Podcast, as well as go to the sonarnetwork.com. You'll see a full profile on both Alia and Isabel with direct links to their social medias. Spooked.